wanted to go to Theron on that. As a Democratic strategist, are the alarm bells ringing at this point? I mean, this is typically, and again, I say generically because everyone obviously has their own ability to come to their own conclusions as to who they want to vote for. But the black voters voting bloc would normally vote Democratic. And now it seems something about this election cycle, there's increased voter outreach to try to convince these voters to pull the lever for Kamala Harris. What's going on behind the scenes?
Well, if we go way, way, way back to the origin of political parties, Black people in general were Republicans. And then, of course, things have changed over generations. And so what has happened the Democratic Party is that the Black vote overall, regardless of gender, has been assumed for quite some time. And the Democratic Party at the very, very top has just said, we know that Black people are Democratic voters and they're going to vote for us. And so to some regard, assuming the vote has not worked out well for them because then they don't engage the voting bloc as they should. I can tell you how many times I've been asked about my vote by a Black elected official who's seeking re-election because, oh, they assumed that I was Black and Democrat, and so they had my vote, and I want my vote to be earned just like any other voting bloc. And so that's what's happened here is that the Black vote overall has been assumed for some time, and now Vice President Harris is working to get it in the ninth hour. At the very bottom of all of these voting blocs being engaged is Black men, unfortunately, and Black men have been engaged the least by both the Republican Party and Democrats. And so now they're saying we want to be seen, we want to be heard just as much as anybody else, and we're going to show you that this November.
Yeah, and Theron, if I could stay with you on that specific topic, because the latest polling out showing here, and just take a look at your screen right now, the latest polling showing that Kamala Harris is ahead 78% to Trump's 15% among likely Black voters. And you may say, okay, that's a lock and for a majority, sure, but you have to look back in time in 2020 where Biden garnered support from more than 90% of the Black vote. So the Democratic nominee, more than 90% in that moment versus Trump's 5%. Trump there clearing some ground and the Democratic nominee losing steam. Now you've seen a lot of pitches for specifically Black men. According to the Kamala Harris campaign, loan forgiveness for entrepreneurs, legalizing federally recreational marijuana, then what she calls an opportunity agenda for Black men. Why do you suppose there's a shift, Theron, for Black men voting for Kamala Harris or not coming out for Harris? Because if you ask the former President Barack Obama, he says it's because they're not feeling a woman president. Is that really the case?
There are so many things. That's such a loaded potato. I think, one, people seeing women in leadership has been sketchy for quite some time. I've been a woman that's run for office, and it's not an easy feat, regardless of what level it happens. People still kind of struggle with seeing a woman in leadership, especially at that high of an office. So that's number one. So the stakes are higher, and honestly, the pressure is higher to be better than the average man of any ethnicity who might run for office. But two, I think she realized that she didn't have any specific policy for Black men, and they had been asking for it for a long time. So here she is now making a fair attempt at providing that, but so many things about that policy are stereotypical. And when she talks about the industries with which she will try to be helpful, you know, she didn't mention specific industries. She just said very high stakes industries. You know, is that tech? Or is that, you know, a warehouse job at a high level? What's the variation in that? But here's the thing, Black men specifically, when I talk in conversations with them, the things that are important to them are money, power, and respect. They want money in their pockets. They want power to be able to move how they want, and they want respect at whatever profession and walk of life they exhibit. And that's something that unfortunately resonates better with them from former President Donald Trump.